doing glow, outline, and drop shadow today. And this is a pretty quick, easy project. So you're going to need 3 PNG images of the same character. It could be a video game character, it could be a movie character, it could be a famous athlete, or it can be a movie character, a book character. But you need 3 different versions of this character as a PNG file before you begin. So when I was in Google, I decided to choose Black Panther, and I typed in PNG, and that was going to bring up all of the images in Google that were PNG, so there's no background, so it makes my job much easier. So here we go. We're back in Pixlr. We are going to log in. I logged in already. Make sure that the images that you choose for this assignment are school appropriate. If they are not school appropriate, you will be getting a 0 on this assignment and 1 chance to fix it. It's in the student handbook. Just make sure your work is school appropriate. So I'm going to choose new, create new, and full HD. And this assignment is called Glow, Outline, and Drop Shadow. And my name, I'm going to hit create. Cool. So I'm going to use the plus sign down here, and I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to choose image, and it is going to bring me to my, there it is, images that I've downloaded, and I'm going to choose one. Let's start with this one. So since it was a PNG, there's no background. It's already done that for me, and I'm actually in the wrong thing. I need to be in Pixlr E. Pixlr E, let's try this again. Create new, full HD, glow, outline, and drop shadow. Curtain. Create. Okay. New layer, image, this image. Cool. So, ready to go. This is really quick, really easy. So, make sure you're following along. So my layer is selected. This is the first one that I'm doing. I'm going to go to the filter menu, and down here, I'm going to choose outer glow. Ooh. I can move this box aside, and I can see the glow around my character. So I can make the glow bigger. I can make it smaller. Somewhere in here is where I want the glow. Since I want this to look more like a glow than an outline, I'm going to feather it. And what that's going to do is it's going to make the edges not as crisp. It makes it a little easier to see that it's a glow. So if I feather this way, it gets more solid. If I feather this way, the edges get softer. So I'm going to put that at 100%. You can change the opacity. That's how much you can see through it, or how much you can see of it. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at 100%. And I'm going to click apply. Boom, that's it. There's my glow. So 1/3 of my project is already done. I am going to move this glow over to, let's see where we're at. Move this glow all the way over here. So now I'm going to choose new layer, image. I'm going to choose a new Black Panther. Let's go with this one here. Cool. He's a little bit big for this image, so I'm going to shrink him down. Still a little bit big. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to create an outline. So I'm going to go to filter, and I'm going to go to outline. Ooh, the red outline is kind of cool. It would be even cooler is maybe a purple outline. Yeah, let's go with the purple outline. And if I wanted to, I can knock the opacity down so I can see through it a little bit. But I kind of like that. So we're going to go ahead and hit apply. So there is my outline glow. outline, and so our next one is drop shadow. Let's get rid of that add. So I'm going to hit the plus sign down here and do another image layer, and I'm going to choose one last Black Panther. I'm going to shrink him down a little bit so he fits here, and we're going to go up to filter and choose drop shadow. So I can move this here so I can see it a little bit more. My shadow is black. I'm good with that. The opacity is at 50%. I can make it a little bit more. The blur just kind of makes it more or less blurry. I kind of like it a little bit blurry. So offset means on the x-axis, so it moves from side to side. So I think I want to put his shadow over here. And the y-axis is up and down. So I can move the shadow up, or I can move the shadow down. So it kind of changes what it looks like. This looks like he's kind of jumping down. This kind of looks like he's jumping up. I'm cool with that. We're going to kind of put it right here. And I'm going to hit apply. Ta-da! Glow, outline, drop shadow. So the last thing I wanted you to do is finish this image. So go to your layer 1, your very bottom layer. You're going to choose the paint bucket tool, and let's go with, you can fill it in a solid color if you want. I'm going to be a little fancy. I'm going to use the gradient tool. Let's get rid of this. I use the gradient tool, and I want linear, and I want to change the colors, and I think I want it to go from black to purple. But I don't want it to be a bright purple. I want it to be kind of darker. Let's try that out. Yeah, that looks good. And the last thing that I wanted you to do, we're going to create a new layer and a text layer. And I want you to use some text to tie this all together. So that color does not go. Let's get something a little brighter looking. Let's change this font to something actiony. Actiony is totally a word today. I'm looking for something you might see on the movie cover. I might have to look through this. I'm just using my arrow keys to scroll through this. That one's not bad. Let's see what we can do. Let's make it a lot bigger. And I don't know that I like the color of that. I do kind of like this purple. And the other thing I can do to this is the same thing that I did to my other layers. And I can, oops, my layer wasn't selected. Yes, it is. I have a drop shadow on here. It says I have a drop shadow on here. Adjustment, filter. Maybe I have to go in through here. No, I've done it before. Ooh, that's kind of cool too. Not what I want, but kind of cool. Okay. Let's go back and filter. It's not going to let me choose it for text. We can duplicate it and move one down and over and change it to black and put it behind my other font. Oops. That kind of helps it pop out a little bit. So see if we change the color of this a little. I think it's the font. Let's find a new font. It's not my favorite, but it's easier to read. So we're going to get rid of this layer. We're going to add this one. Here we go. There's our font ones where we can add that drop shadow to it. So drop shadow. We're going to add some more blur to it. We want the opacity to be darker so it stands off of everything. Cool, that reads much better. Okay, cool. So there's my image. I have my 3 characters. I have one with the glow, one with the outline, and one with the drop shadow. I created a background to help tie them all together, and I added text to help tie them together on the top. So I moved some layers around. I kind of troubleshooted through some of this. I couldn't find some of this at first, but we found it all. Once I'm done, I'm going to save it as a JPEG, and I'm also going to save it as a PXD file. Then I want you to save this to your Google site. Make sure you title it Glow, Outline, and Drop Shadow. And then I want you to answer some questions on your Google site about this project. I want you to tell me what went well, what did you have problems with, what tools did you like, and what could you use this for on a future project. If you have any questions, email me and I'm happy to answer them as soon as I can. Otherwise, good luck with this project and have fun.